Welcome back to number 12, and this number 12 is crane rail clamping to the runway beam. Now, if you take a clean look here, a closer look here, you can see we have the two clamps in place. So I want to mirror this on the opposite direction, and prior to that, I want to create a rail stopper here so that our crane girder will not just go all the way off the rail here. So we have to create a stopper here. So to create a stopper, we have to get some points that will help us in creating a component that we will be able to stop the girder when it reaches the end of the rail. And that stopper will have some will have some rubber or a damper that will not create some sharp impact. So let me just snap on that spot and snap on the other end, and also just mouse over this section here. Let me just right click once again and come to this spot here and come to any point and snap on that spot. And I want to snap on this direction here, that direction, that spot. So I'll right click. So I want to copy this point upward. So I'll right click and come to special copy here and give it a linear copy. So I want to take it up by, so I have to change everything to 0 except Z axis. So I want to take this up by 400 upward. So if I take it up by 400, I'll be able to create a plate here. So also I have to create a plate here, a point here. So I'll come here, and this is a midpoint which is accurate and will not give us so much headache. So let me just close that. So we want to create a point, plate, using the points that we've just created. So that plate will act as a stopper for the crane girder. So I'll come to steel, then come to plate, then pick on that spot. Then I'll start trailing the points that I've just created and to create a polygon plate there. So the moment I come to my initial point, I'll be able to have created a plate. So this plate, I want to support it like that by another plate from the top there. So to do that, I'll come back to same edit, same steel, and I want to start placement of another point to that spot, and I'll go all the way to that spot and come back to my initial point like that, and I have a plate in place. So let me just double click on it and take it to the middle. So let me just place it on the middle there. So this is okay. So I'm going to create a weld between the two. So I'll come to weld here and pick on the weld and pick this member and that member and weld. Perfect. And that has been welded. The same will apply to this one also, to this one, to this one that will be welded on top of the crane crane runway beam. So I'll do the same welding here. I'll come here and weld this to this and weld this to this. Perfect. That has been welded there. So the moment I begin populating this along the along the full length of the whole building of the crane rail, I'll be able now to mirror this. So let me just come here and make sure I pick everything in the best manner possible. So let me just change my render to shaded render. So let me pick the parts that I want to mirror, select on that, and I want to select on this and select on the bolts, select on the nuts. Let me just pick on the nut there, select on the nut. So my selection is not accurate. Let me just continue pressing Control and just mouse over there and select on the nut, and mouse over there and select on the nut. Then I zoom out. I'll zoom out and try and add another nut. It seems I've left that nut outside, and I want to add this. And let me add that, and let me add that. Perfect. It has been copied or has been selected. So if I zoom out and I want to add that nut. Let me just zoom close. I want to just mouse over there and make sure I select on that, and I come here and make sure I select on this one also. So if I select on that and zoom out and select on this member also, so once I've selected on those, I'm going to rotate this. So I'm going to rotate this by pressing my left button on the mouse and turn it around like that. And see, it seems I've left some parts that I've not selected. So I'm going to pick on that and select on that too. So let me change my render to part rendered. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mirror this. I'm going to mirror this. So once I've mirrored this, I'll get it to the other to the opposite direction of everything here. So let me just right click and come to special copy and come to mirror. So I want to mirror it from this section here, that, and move all the way to that center there. And once I've reached there, I'm going to click copy and click OK. So let's see whether everything has been mirrored on this far end. So it has been mirrored, but let's zoom close so that we check if everything has been done as we had described, and it's perfect and everything is okay. So the next thing remaining is now to populate the rest of this to the full length of our structure, or of our runway beam. So I'm going to select everything here. So once I've done so, I'm going to select everything here. Let me just come closer and select everything there. Press Control and deselect what we don't want to be selected. Now, since we have this in place, and we don't want to include that in our selection. And also, if I go the other side and come to this side, let me just come and rotate this, and probably press Control and click Interrupt, and I'll select everything here and deselect the part that I don't want to include, and deselect that. So the clamp will be included, and this one will be included. So what I'm going to do is very simple. I'm going to start placement right from the center here, but we have to be very, very careful, because we might not get things accurately. So what we are going to do, we are going to try work with the 6 meter center to center, which might be not the right thing to do. So, but let's try guess that if it will be okay. So we are going on the opposite direction of x. So I'll key in, I'll prefix that dimension with the 6 millimeter, and try 3 or 4. And if we click copy, we'll have to see that it's not accurate, and you can see there's some sort of clashes, and we have to check this clash. And if we see the clash is uniformly done, we'll have to do some maths. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to measure this. I'm going to measure this distance and add it on this, plus the allowance of the 10 millimeter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on measure and pick on distance and select on that, and I want to snap on that spot. Let me start once again. That is 55. So we'll add 10 to 55, 10 millimeter to 55 to make it 65, so that if we add it here, it will be 60, 65. That's it. So let's do that on the next part of this training, and let's do it then. And I hope you've learned something on this part, and I hope you'll put that into practice, and see you then in the next part of the same topic.